I'ma make it go north, south, east, west, coast. Maybe we can go north, south.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Xrizz'Tina. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Doy. Today we're going to be talking about the new Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. She is right here. This is how the packaging looks. It's a soft baby pink. And then this is how the actual palette looks. It has this nice little foiled trim around the edges. It's textured. You've got the rose gold trim on there too. And then when you open it up, there are 10 eyeshadows and 2 blushes. So essentially with this palette, you'll be paying $4.58 per pan, which sums up to $55. It does have a mirror on the inside, so if you're wanting to recycle this, you'll have to yank the mirror out in order to recycle it, as well as the metal pans, and recycle the pieces separately. But it is a hardback, I believe, like cardboard palette. I know when it first came out, a lot of people were questioning whether or not this would look good on black people. So I tested it when I first got it, and it looked really, really nice. Which just goes to show that, you know, you can't really assume that you're limited when you see a palette like this just because your skin is black. Certain things can show up on you if they're formulated correctly, which is why we're demonstrating. I did also want to say that these 2 blushes can also be used as eyeshadows. Just because the palette says it's for something doesn't mean that's how you have to use it. So let's get started on an eyeshadow look. I'm going to start off with Deep Berry because I like to start with darker colors. And I do want to show y'all, there's Kickback, and the pans are bigger as well. So I'm just going to tap this in like so. I also put on the ABH eyeshadow primer for this. I think I used a little too much, but that's all right. So I'm going to tap this into the outer third of my eye. One thing I will say about darker shades like this is if you're going to use them, make sure that you are tapping as much as you can, especially once you get closer to where you want the eyeshadow to stop. Don't be shy about wiping your brush off on a towel nearby, a clean towel, and then tap around the edges. And I like to tap the edges. Here, let me come closer. I like to tap the edges because it's a really soft way to get the perimeter of the eyeshadow to soften, and also to help me shape it without creating any stark lines. And the closer you get to where you want the eyeshadow to stop, the lighter your hand should be with these tapping motions so that it gradiates really easily. And once you get to a point where you feel like it's soft enough, you can either start literally blending it out, like blending it, or you can go ahead and add another shade on top and blend that, use that shade to blend out the first eyeshadow. I'm just gonna soften it a little bit more because I don't want to have any lines of demarcation. And this is pretty. Let's go into Flare It. Now this is supposed to be a burgundy shade, and I don't know how burgundy, but we're about to find out. What I like to do is actually start down here where I started applying the original shade. I start so low because I pick up a lot of product. If you pick up a lot of product, you want to start much, much lower. What that's going to do is help you transition the colors into each other a lot better and keep you from creating a stark line up here. If you use way less product, you can start a little bit higher and just blend them into each other. But because I want both colors to actually show up, I'm going to start lower. So I'm going to start down here, and I'm tapping this in. Okay. Tap, tap, tap. Same thing. Now wipe my brush off again. Now I'm just going to blend this out. And you want to blend your eyeshadow in the direction you would like for it to go. So if you do the windshield wiper motions, yes, you will fan out your eyeshadow, but that's more so for bringing it in and out than it is for blending it towards your brow bone. So I like to blend sideways, and I wipe my brush off before I do this because if you have too much product on your brush while you're doing this, you'll wind up bringing your eyeshadow towards your eyebrow. And if you're not cool with that, you'll want to wipe off your brush before blending out your transition shade. So blend, blend, blend in the direction you want the shadows to go. Yes, yes. Moving on to the next shade. Now, there's a shade in here called Mango. It's a really, really pretty color, but I'm tempted to use Rogue because I liked that color when I used it last time. So I'm gonna start with Rogue and then I'm gonna put Mango on top of it. Again, picking up quite a bit of pigment, so I'm gonna start right up in here and I'm gonna put Rogue right there. Rogue is really pretty. It kind of reminds me of Dusty Dead Rose or something. That's what it reminds me of. And I'm tapping her in. Notice how that gave me a lot more depth in my crease right here because I had blended out the first two shades so well. So I'm gonna pack that in right here. And then I'm gonna do some circular motions because I want to blow this out, but I kind of want it to stay in place. So instead of doing this and bringing the eyeshadow inward or doing this and blending it outward, I'm gonna do these circular motions to blow it out in place. And you wanna be mindful of where you're bringing your brush when you're doing this, especially if you still have quite a bit of product on it. So I'm blowing it out in place. Ta-da! And because my transition shade was already blended and all that jazz, it's not creating any stark lines, period. Yes, that's a pretty little transition. I'm gonna pick up Mango, and I just did one swipe, and I'm gonna start right on top of the Rogue shade. Y'all see how pigmented that is? Girl, she took over the whole situation I just blended. But I'm gonna put her right here in my tear duct area, like so, just to give this area a little bit of color, because that's where I had some primer and I don't want to see the primer, okay? I'm going to take a black eyeliner and add it to the outer third of my lash line for some depth. Now I will say, even though these pigments are pigmented, or these eyeshadows are pigmented, if you blend it out too much, it'll be too soft. So I'm doing the, what is this? The MAC Graph Black Technical Eyeliner and the XO Beauty Babes. It doesn't say what kind of brush it is, but this is the brush. And I'm going to pull downward. Mind you, I'm being very gentle while doing this. I'm not doing this. Pull downward towards where the perimeter of the eyeliner is. And I'm also moving my brush upwards while I'm doing it. So pull down, but as you pull down, move upwards. What that's going to do is blend the eyeliner into your eyeshadow without giving you harsh lines. Harsh lines. That's what we don't want. Harsh lines. Alright, I'm also going to just blend this a little bit more forward because black underneath metallic eyeshadows makes them pop, believe it or not. And I might actually demonstrate that in a video too if y'all want to see it. Let me know if you want to see a video on how to make metallic eyeshadows pop. So I'm going to go back into Deep Berry, just one swipe, and I'm going to tap her right on top. You can also use a black eyeshadow for this, but if you're not into using black eyeshadows, just use the Deep Berry, girl. You ain't got to go crazy. I'm going to use my finger to apply these eyeshadows, these shimmering eyeshadows, because that's how I put them on the first time, and I know that they're going to look good if I do it that way. So I like to use my pinky. I'm going to start with Fire Opal, and these are very, very, like, they're really, really soft. And I'm going to really to, my eye. I'm going to put Fire Opal right here, like that. Like that. Yes, ma'am. Just like that. And you can either leave it like that and clean it up with the dark eyeshadow, which I might do now that I'm thinking about it, or you could blend it out. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to take a brush for the one in my inner corner because I don't want to get this shade everywhere, but this is Peony, and I'm going to put her right here. And this brush that I'm using is a MAC 242 brush. If I'm not mistaken, this is an eyeshadow brush. So I'm going to blend these together like that. And I'm actually going to define my crease a little bit. And if you have an eyeshadow brush that's flat enough, this is really easy to do. You just sweep it in right there. Oops. Oops, y'all see that? Y'all see that? Just take my dark eyeshadow brush and soften that up. Then I'm going to take a little bit more of Fire Opal and sort of define this little perimeter that I've made here. This is one of my favorite shapes to make with eyeshadow. To clean up the line right here, I'm just going to take an angled brush. You just want to come along these edges. And so this is your opportunity to clean this up. Now see how that line is super harsh? Take a little bit more of Deep Berry and just blend out the edges with this angled brush. Okay, y'all, so what I'm gonna do is add a little bit of my my KVD Beauty Trooper Black Eyeliner to my lash line, super fine. And for my lower lash line, all I'm gonna do is put on some black eyeliner and blend the black with this dark berry color that I used. What is the shade called? Deep Berry. So that's all I'm gonna do for my lower lash line. So I will be right back. All right, y'all. So this is the final look, okay? This is the final look. Like I said earlier, I'm not really feeling my base. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not feeling my base, but that's okay. As far as the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette is concerned, I think it's a really pretty palette. It shows up well on me. I do want to try using this with my flesh toned eyeshadow primer just to see how everything blends and shows up. But this is really, really beautiful. I love the packaging. I love that the pans are bigger, that there's more product. It's not just wider pans, there's more product. And I like that there are 2 blushes here that can also be used as transition shades or an eyelid color for someone with my complexion or darker. The only thing I do wish was in here was a dark brown. I wish there was a dark brown in here instead of perhaps this purpley matte shade. I mean, it's cute. I haven't used it yet. It's cute, but I do wish that there was something else in here instead of that, especially for those of us who do like to be more neutral and don't want to have to open up another palette to get a dark brown. So other than that, I would definitely recommend this palette to anyone who likes everyday makeup. That seems to be the trend with Anastasia Beverly Hills specifically. They create products for people who want an everyday glam or who just want to be neutral. You still have the kickback and they're pigmented. So anyway, comment down below, let me know. Have you tried this palette? Would you try this palette? Would you like for me to do another look just to make you feel like perhaps you should get it, and what kind of look would that be? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in the first place, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Also, if you see the same look, I did film 3 different videos, and that's why the same look gonna be in 3 different videos. So anyway, I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace.